Now, KZI 9 News at 4, we're learning more about a weekend fire in Junction City that caused millions of dollars worth of damage. Why fire crews say it could have been a lot worse. Plus, we're just hours away from Election Day, and there are a number of hot-button issues on the ballots across the region. We'll recap some of those big ones, what you need to know before casting your vote.
And a pretty nice start to the work week. We're looking at partly cloudy skies right now, but we have two big storms on the way. I'll have a look at your forecast as KEZI 9 News at 4 starts now.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 4.
A fake bomb threat forced evacuations at 2 local schools today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Bob Schaefer. It is our top story this afternoon. When we got there, Harrisburg Middle and Elementary School children were gathered at the nearby high school. The superintendent told us that around 9:30 this morning, students found a note saying the middle school would blow up just hours later. Deputies from the Lane County Sheriff's Office did an extensive search of the middle school but found no threat.
We want to err on the side of safety with our kids and keep them safe, and so in matters such as this and with the society and culture we live in today.
After the all clear, both elementary and middle school students returned to class. The superintendent told us, however, that many concerned parents elected to check their kids out for the day. And a frightening moment for Bethel School District's students when their bus was hit by a minivan. Happened this morning at the intersection of Roosevelt and Danabo. Eugene police say the school bus was on Roosevelt when it turned left onto Danabo and collided with that van. 2 people in the van were taken to the hospital. They have minor injuries. Police say the school bus driver and students on the bus were not hurt. Officers say glare from the sun may have been a factor in that crash.
I know there's glare for the lights, so just make sure you're driving slow enough that you can see when the lights are changing.
Good advice. The students hopped on a different bus to get to Danabo Elementary. We have new information on that head-on crash that killed 2 people near Santiam Pass last week. Police say 70-year-old Linda Davis from Staten was driving west when her car was hit by a 47-year-old man driving a Ford van. That man was pronounced dead at the scene. His identity is still being withheld at this time as his family has not yet been located. Now we have an update. A man is facing kidnapping and attempted sex assault charges after he allegedly threatened to attack 2 women in Portland. Police arrested Jeffrey Lane Saturday near Washington Square Mall. Investigators say he followed a woman into a parking garage elevator in downtown Portland on October 18th. The woman pushed him out after he threatened to assault her. And then a few days later, police say Lane followed another woman into an elevator and tried to assault her too. She was also able to get away. The investigation continues this afternoon following a weekend fire at a Junction City RV business. Officials say it did $8 million worth of damage. KZI 9 News reporter Brady Wakayama is live in JC with the latest on this investigation. Brady?
Bob, this is the closest we can get to the storage building right here at Premier RV. As you can see, there's still burn marks on the building, but fire marshals say the fire was accidental. They don't know what caused it. Now, I spoke with Captain Matt Slocum with Junction City Fire. He told me the fire did $2 million in damage to the building and $6 million to the RVs and other contents inside. Slocum estimates there were 40 to 45 Class A RVs that were damaged. He says it started around 2:45 Sunday morning and lasted until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Slocum says the fire was very challenging to contain and more than a dozen units from throughout Lane County responded.
Anywhere from 40 to 45 RVs in there that could all potentially catch fire, and to get in there and put them out is a challenge in itself, just because you don't know if the one next to you is going to start or what's going to happen. It's dark in there with all the smoke. You can't really see, so it just makes it difficult.
He says each RV had an estimated value between $50,000 to $350,000. And coming up on KZI 9 News at 5, hear from an RV dealership owner nearby on his thoughts on the fire and why he thinks this could have been prevented. Live in Junction City, Brady Wakayama, KZI 9 News.
Now, your first forecast with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
Well, we've had some clouds roll across the area today, but now we're beginning to see some clearing, and I do expect even clearer skies as we move into tonight. But because of the recent rainfall and the clear skies tonight, most likely looking at some fog as we wake up tomorrow morning. So enjoy the nice clear skies right now over Coos Bay and North Bend, a beautiful sight here. Also looking at clear skies up near Florence and here in Corvallis right now, where you can see, yes, some clouds out in the distance to the north, but a lot of sunshine. That sun already setting Of course, our days are appearing shorter, but they are getting a little bit darker now, an hour earlier, now that daylight saving time has ended. A live look from downtown Eugene off to the east. You can see a few clouds here, otherwise a lot of sunshine. And same thing for Roseburg, looking at sunny skies at this hour, and currently 53 degrees. So temperatures not too bad as we move into this evening. Expect temperatures to cool down into the 40s, dropping fast. A lot of us are going to head for the 30s, and even a few of us are going to head even farther than that, upper 20s most likely to start off your Tuesday. That'll mainly be for the Willamette Valley, possibly a few places into the foothills of the Cascades. Otherwise, mid to upper 30s for your start. I'll have a close look at your forecast for Tuesday as well as what you can expect for the rest of the week. Looking at some rain on the way. I'll have more in just a bit. Bob.
Okay, Marissa, thank you very much. I just love those sky cams, especially that one on the coast. All right, your voice, your vote. The November special election is tomorrow, and there are some hot-button issues on that ballot. KZI 9 News anchor Matt Templeman live in the studio to tell us more about what voters need to know ahead of Election Day, right, Matt?
Yeah, Bob, there seems to be a hot topic in each county, ranging from pot to potholes and road work. All right, let's start first in Douglas County, where voters will decide on a home rule charter. Now, if passed, it would replace the 3 full-time county commissioners with 5 part-time positions. In the city of Springfield, voters will decide on Measure 2273, which will extend the city's jail and police levy for another 5 years. If passed, this ballot measure would cost voters $1.40 per $1,000 of assessed value for 5 years. So the owner of a $200,000 home would pay $280. That's 12 cents more than the current rate. This levy would continue to maintain Springfield municipal jail operations and enhance police service levels over the next 5 years. Let's move to the city of Eugene, where bond measure 2275 will continue the resurfacing and repairing of 78 streets in Eugene. This is an extension of a measure passed in 2008 and then again in 2012. It's a $51 million bond measure, and if approved, will not go into effect until 2019, and it would cost the average household an estimated $148 per year. Cresswell voters will have to decide if they want to allow recreational dispensaries within city limits. Right now, they are not. Elections officials say ballots are trickling in, so I want to give you a little look here at the voter turnout so far. In Benton County, 24% of voters have returned ballots, much higher in Coos County at 32%. Voter turnout so far in Douglas County, 33%, and 21% in Lane County. And just a reminder, ballots must be received no later than 8 p.m. tomorrow, November 7th, to be counted. And do not forget to sign the return envelope, and you can take those to any ballot drop location. Live in the studio, Matt Templeman, KZI 9 News. Bob. Still plenty of time to get those ballots in. Thank you, Matt. Of course, we'll be following Election Day results as they come in tomorrow. You can find the latest on our social media sites and on our website, kzi.com. Portland officials say more than half the 200 people arrested during protests after last year's presidential elections were never prosecuted, and a lot of those cases were just dismissed. According to the Oregonian, the high number of cases led law enforcement to focus on the most dangerous offenders from the protest. 11 people have already been convicted for crimes such as threatening people or property. 11 others are still headed to trial. A few dozen demonstrators gathered in downtown Portland this weekend as part of a global protest. It's called the Million Mask March. It was organized through Facebook groups to support the hacker group called Anonymous. They call for people to protest against mass government surveillance, internet censorship, and allegedly corrupt politicians who put capitalism before the people. Now, some protesters said the march is about standing up for rights and letting those in power who may be watching know that the public is watching them too.
I'm out here to let the government know that there are people who see them, and everybody around the world does too, and we're not going to take it. We need to wake up and realize what we're doing to the planet and what our government's doing to us, and that it's bigger than all of us.
Police say the protests were largely peaceful. Demonstrators tried to cross the Hawthorne Bridge, but police were able to stop them. St. Vincent de Paul just got its largest donation ever today, $2 million. It comes from a local IT group. In today's Making a Difference, KZI 9 News anchor Brian Anderson tells us where all that money is going.
Imagine if these signs were replaced with school books.
It's a very, very hard life.
He's talking about teenagers without a home. Around 400 of them, he says, are in Eugene, Springfield, and Bethel school districts. Paul Neville works with St. Vincent de Paul.
Some have been abandoned by their families, some have been rejected by their families, and just for every teen, there's a different story.
For many of them, a new chapter is on the way. This teen girls' youth home is almost finished. Now St. Vincent de Paul has the funding for a boys' teen youth home too.
It means the world to all of us.
Ryan Lee works for CBT Nuggets. The IT education company donated $2 million for the boys' home.
We want to give them true life skills. We want to hold them accountable. We want to help show them what it's like to form habits, to have that opportunity to continue to move forward and grow.
Growth fostered by healthcare and social services, 24-hour supervision, and mentors committing at least a year of their time to help change a life.
And these are kids who in some cases never had anybody spend a year with them at all.
This youth home behind me for teen girls is now just a couple months from completion. And with that new donation, St. Vincent de Paul hopes to have a youth home for teen boys sometime next year. Reporting in Lane County, Brian Anderson, KEZI 9 News.
Okay, Brian, thank you. A deadly shooting rampage in a rural Texas church is a stark reminder that no group is safe from tragedy. Coming up on KEZI 9 News at 4:30. We take a look at how one Eugene church is preparing for such a worst-case scenario. But first, one Douglas County mom is up in arms saying her children's school bus driver acted inappropriately while on duty. What she says that driver did and what change she's pushing for when we come back.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 4.
A Douglas County mom is taking action after she says her kids had a horrible experience on a school bus. KEZI 9 News reporter Macy Hyland has more from this frustrated mother.
Nicole Husky says after hearing about an incident that her children had with a bus driver last week, she sprung into action. She's now determined to make a difference for all children who ride the bus.
Husky has 2 children. Both go to Brockway Elementary School in Winston. Both of her kids came home on Thursday and said their bus driver yelled and used curse words on the bus. One of her kids even said the bus driver asked one child to smack another so that the child would sit down. Husky was very upset once she heard the stories from her children, so she took to Facebook. After sharing her story, she found out she wasn't the only parent to have children experience similar things while on buses in Douglas County. Now, she wants to make a change.
I just want something to happen. I want these kids to feel safer. My real goal so far, just baby steps, I really want to see more supervision on these buses.
By supervision, she's talking about the possibility of a driver's aid. She says she knows the bus drivers must feel overwhelmed and the aid could only help. Husky says she went to the bus barn in Winston to find answers and didn't get anywhere. I also reached out to First Students Incorporated. That is the company contracted by the district to provide bus service. No one was available for comment this afternoon. The school district also wasn't available to comment.
Husky wanted to make it abundantly clear that she is not targeting all bus drivers, but she does want to make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen again. In Roseburg, Macy Hyland, KEZI 9 News.
Stay tuned on that story. Okay, Macy, thank you very much. Work is officially underway in Portland on a new facility that will double as affordable housing and a health clinic. A groundbreaking ceremony was held earlier today. The $50 million project is expected to help thousands of people every year. The building will have space for transitional housing and permanent homes. It'll also offer employment services for people and even house a 2-story healthcare facility. That facility will serve people in the community with recovery, mental health, and primary care services. And Central City Concern is the nonprofit behind this project. They say this will be the first of their buildings to offer all these services in one place. The doors will officially open sometime in the beginning of 2019. Enrollment is up this year at Oregon State University. The school announced today they saw a nearly 2% increase in overall enrollment. The university has 31,904 students this year, making it the largest class in the state of Oregon for the 4th consecutive year. The school says its most popular undergrad majors are computer science, business administration, mechanical engineering, and biology. Starting next week, the city of Eugene will begin leaf collection, and the city asks that you start raking now, even if you haven't already. Officials say it's important for each individual homeowner to make sure they're gathering those leaves to prevent them from flowing through the storm drains. They say those leaves can end up in the rivers, and that's actually a bad thing.
Once those leaves do get into the water, they basically will pull oxygen from the water, and that's oxygen that fish need to survive.
This map shows which areas of the city will be cleaned up when. The areas in orange are this upcoming weekend, so make sure to get those leaves collected by then. The city of Eugene plans to clean up every city street at least twice before leaf season ends. The leaf pickup program is funded by the stormwater user fees that homeowners pay within city limits.
Well, here's a look at traffic across the area. We did have an accident earlier today on I-5 North near Hall C. You can still see the accidents there, but traffic is flowing just fine in either direction. As we move to the Eugene-Springfield area, a couple slowdowns, of course, near our Delta Beltline interchange. And also as you're traveling into some of the more populated areas, especially along West 11th, down to the Umpqua Basin, things are moving just fine until you get to that interchange along I-5. I'll have a closer look at your forecast and what you can expect for the rest of this week next.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
Well, here's a live look from the Sea Lion Caves, where we are looking at some beautiful conditions across the area this evening. Again, we're looking off to the north. You can see the ocean not too bad. You can see the sunshine on the hillside, and we do have some more sun on the way for a little bit tomorrow. That is, though, depending on if we see some patchy fog tomorrow morning. Right now, we're in the 50s, Newport, Florence, and North Bend, also Eugene and Roseburg. 45, though, in Cottage Grove, and also chillier across the pass, where we did see a good amount of snow earlier today, both at 30, or excuse me, not earlier today, earlier this weekend, 31 now, both across the NTM and Willamette Pass. Now, Storm Tracker 9 satellite and radar still showing some clouds across the area, but we do have a lot of breaks, and I do expect some breaks to continue as we move into tonight, and that is going to lead to the development of fog as we move into early tomorrow morning. You can see there are even more clouds, though, offshore. That's the next system on the way. It's going to hold off until mainly we move into Wednesday, so tomorrow is still going to be a fairly quiet day, though it may be cloudy depending on how much fog we have in the morning before the clouds move on in. And you can see it here on Storm Tracker 9 Stormcast. We'll put things in motion starting off tonight, moving through about 11 o'clock, looking at mostly clear skies. So as we move into tonight with clear skies, that's really going to lead to some fog developing as we get into early tomorrow morning. So even though Stormcast has clear skies to start off the day, I do expect some fog all along I-5, as well as in some spots along the coast. Otherwise, we'll start off with clear skies into the Cascades, and most likely many spots in the coast range. But once we head throughout the day, getting closer to lunchtime, already seeing an increase in clouds from the west-southwest, and then even more clouds just push across the entire area through tomorrow evening, and then even tomorrow night. The rain will mainly hold off until we get into Wednesday morning along the coast, and then inland even into the afternoon will actually stay dry at least for the next couple of, all the way through the first part of the day on Wednesday before those showers move in the afternoon, especially the farther east that you live. So again, here's a look at what you can expect tonight. Some patchy fog. Chilly, though. Temperatures will be in the mid-30s for the Umpqua Basin, upper 30s for those of you along the coast, and upper 20s for the Willamette Valley. So a very cold start tomorrow morning, but we will rebound nicely into the afternoon. Highs will climb into the mid-50s along the coastline here, looking at increasing clouds throughout the day. The Umpqua Basin will also rebound into the low 50s once we get into the afternoon for tomorrow. The Cascades looking at upper 40s in the foothills and upper 30s across the passes. So of course, colder here as we are at the higher elevations. And finally, for the Willamette Valley, temperatures will climb into the low 50s after starting off in the upper 20s tomorrow morning, but we will see an increase in clouds as we move throughout the afternoon. 7-day forecast along the coast. Showers begin early Wednesday, and they'll continue through Friday with this storm system. Another one's on the way for the second half of the weekend. Temperatures will continue to be in the mid-50s for highs. And then after tomorrow night, actually, our overnight lows get much warmer because we'll have the clouds, so lows will be into the mid to upper 40s. The Umpqua Basin, rain arriving around lunchtime on Wednesday, continuing through Friday. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s through the week, and then lows will be back into the low 40s after tonight. The Cascades looking at rain on Wednesday, and then a rain-snow mix Thursday, Friday, but more on the snow side. That snow line is going to be right at the tops of the passes at 5,000 feet, so it won't be quite as low as what we've had with this past storm. And finally, for the Willamette Valley, expect some rain showers arriving around lunchtime on Wednesday, continuing through Friday. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s through the weekend, but we're also going to see our overnight lows get warmer after tonight. Again, tonight will be the cold night because we don't have any clouds that are in there to kind of trap in the heat, so looking at upper 20s tonight. Then after that, we'll be closer to 40 degrees, but the rain will be back into the clouds.
Pretty good forecast today. Was nice.
Yeah.
No rain for a couple days at least.
Not too bad.
All right. Thanks, Marissa. A holiday tradition is back, the 25th annual Festival of Trees. For 6 days during Thanksgiving week, Eugene's Valley River Inn is transformed into a winter wonderland. Organizers claim it's one of Lane County's premier fundraising and holiday events that attracts nearly 18,000 people every year. They say during the past 20 years, the event has raised more than $7.9 million.
It really is for the whole entire community. We have people who come into our home that are respite. We have people that are residential. We have GIP patients, general inpatient patients, and this really is for our whole entire community.
If you want to check it out, you can get your tickets at the door. The price is $7 for adults, $5 for seniors and kids, $3 if your child's in a stroller. The first night starts November 22nd. It's no secret that youth athletics are becoming a multi-billion-dollar industry, but coming up on KZI 9 News, we'll take a look at how towns around the country are trying to cash in on this trend. Welcome back. Youth sports continue to grow in popularity, now a multi-billion-dollar industry. Now some small towns across the country are trying to capitalize on that. ABC's Karen Travers takes a look at how communities are building sports complexes to attract players and pump money into their local economies.
It's an iconic movie line.
If you build, you will come.
In Field of Dreams, that meant a simple baseball diamond in a cornfield. But across America today, cities are building massive sports complexes with the hope that travel teams will come.
What else goes in your bag?
The Zucconis of Kensington, Maryland are your typical sports family. Parents Lauren and Guido help coach their kids' teams. Their weekends are spent shuttling their young athletes to soccer and lacrosse games, and that often means driving hours away from home. Sixth grader Anna loves to play lacrosse, but she also loves the whole experience of hitting the road.
It's a lot of being able to hang out with my teammates and just like bonding and having fun in the hotel.
Youth sports in America is now a $15 billion business, and it's growing every year. Travel sports teams are driving that explosion.
This is a typical weeknight at a sports complex just outside of Washington, D.C. Hundreds of young soccer players practicing across multiple fields. But on a weekend, it's complexes like this that can mean big money for a local community.
Experts say that while large cities can draw trade shows and business conferences,
smaller towns especially are really cashing in on, they have the land, and so they build multiple fields, and that's what tournament organizers are looking for.
That's just what Westfield, Indiana did in 2014 when it opened a 400-acre, $49 million sports complex. With more than 50 fields for soccer, lacrosse, softball, and baseball, this facility outside Indianapolis pumped around $160 million into the local economy last year. Visiting parents aren't just spending money to get their kids on the field, they're spending it at hotels, restaurants, and shopping malls. The Zucconis look at their weekends on the road as a great thing for their family. The long hours in the car are quality time.
So you get a chance to kind of bond in that hour or two in the car.
Some of our best conversations are in the car, traveling to sports.
And you can't put a price tag on that. Karen Travers, ABC News, Arlington, Virginia.
All right, Karen, thank you very much. Coming up, as a Texas community mourns the losses from a tragic church shooting over the weekend, KZI 9 News speaks with local community churches about how they prepare for a worst-case scenario. And a Nevada man is accused of shooting and killing his teenager. Why the boy's friends say they believe it happened all because he was gay. And do you have a tip or